What if, somewhere on Earth, a hidden chamber exists, holding knowledge meant only for certain times in history? Ancient traditions surrounding Thoth, the keeper of wisdom, speak of secret places where powerful knowledge was preserved, not destroyed, not lost, but hidden. Some interpretations of the Emerald Tablets suggest that Thoth warned future generations about these chambers, saying they would remain sealed until humanity was ready. But where could such a place be? Beneath deserts, inside mountains, or hidden beneath structures we already know? For centuries, explorers and seekers have searched for hidden chambers linked to ancient wisdom. Some believe these chambers contain records of past civilizations, advanced knowledge, and truths about humanity's origins. The idea itself is irresistible. A vault of memory, a library of eternity, a place where the secrets of the cosmos are waiting patiently for us to stumble upon them. The Egyptians hinted at such mysteries in their temples and pyramids. The Greeks, fascinated by Egyptian lore, carried the whispers forward. Later, Renaissance scholars and modern explorers added their own speculations, layering myth upon myth until the hidden chamber became less a place and more a symbol of humanity's endless curiosity. And yet, the allure remains. The thought that beneath the sands of Giza, or under the paws of the Sphinx, or deep inside forgotten ruins there, might be a chamber filled with scrolls, tablets, and inscriptions that explain everything from the rise of Atlantis to the cycles of the stars, is enough to keep the legend alive. Tonight, we explore the legends, symbols, and interpretations surrounding the hidden chamber Thoth is said to have spoken about, and why its mystery still fascinates the world. If you love mythology and history from all cultures and forbidden ancient stories, subscribe, because this channel reveals the secrets behind every myth, and let me know where you're watching from. Hopefully not from inside a hidden chamber already, because internet reception down there must be terrible. To understand the mystery of hidden chambers, we must first meet the figure most often associated with them, Thoth. In Egyptian tradition, Thoth was not just another deity among the pantheon. He was the architect of wisdom, the divine scribe, the one who measured, recorded, and balanced the cosmos. If the universe had a librarian, it was Thoth, endlessly cataloging truths, ensuring that nothing was forgotten, and occasionally reminding humanity that knowledge was both a gift and a responsibility. Depicted with the head of an ibis, or sometimes as a baboon, Thoth embodied intellect and precision. The ibis, with its long curved beak, was seen as a symbol of careful measurement, while the baboon represented watchfulness and calculation. These forms were not chosen at random. They reflected the qualities Thoth was believed to embody: meticulousness, balance, and the ability to see beyond the obvious. Thoth's role extended far beyond the temples of Egypt. He was said to have invented writing, giving humanity the ability to preserve memory beyond the fleeting spoken word. He was the keeper of time, measuring the movements of the stars and the cycles of the moon. He was the judge in the afterlife, recording the deeds of souls as they stood before Osiris. In every role, Thoth was the recorder, the preserver, the one who ensured that truth endured. The Greeks, ever eager to borrow wisdom, identified Thoth with Hermes, their messenger god. This fusion gave rise to Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great Hermes, a figure who became central to mystical traditions in later centuries. Through this blending, Thoth's legacy spread far beyond Egypt, influencing philosophy, alchemy, and esoteric thought across the Mediterranean world. But Thoth was not only a recorder of what was, he was also a guardian of what should remain hidden. Legends suggest that he stored certain truths in secret places, chambers sealed away until humanity was ready. These were not ordinary records, but wisdom too powerful to be left in the open. In this way, Thoth became not just the keeper of memory, but the keeper of mystery. To ask, who was Thoth, is to ask why humanity has always believed that wisdom must be preserved, protected, and sometimes concealed. He was the embodiment of that belief, a divine reminder that knowledge is eternal, but access to it must be earned. When the ancients spoke of Thoth, they did not imagine him as a mere recorder of events. He was the embodiment of wisdom itself, the custodian of truths too vast for ordinary minds, and the guardian of knowledge that stretched beyond the boundaries of time. To the Egyptians, Thoth was not only a god but a principle, the very idea that wisdom must be preserved, balanced, and handed down carefully. Thoth's role as keeper of wisdom was woven into every aspect of Egyptian life. He was believed to have invented writing, giving humanity the ability to capture memory beyond fleeting speech. Every scroll, every inscription carved into stone was seen as an extension of Thoth's divine gift. Without him, knowledge would vanish like sand in the wind. With him, it could endure for generations. He was also the master of measurement. The cycles of the moon, the rising of Sirius, the alignment of temples with the stars, all were attributed to Thoth's careful calculations. By measuring time and space, he ensured that humanity lived in harmony with cosmic rhythms. Wisdom, in this sense, was not abstract but practical. It guided agriculture, rituals, and the very structure of society. In the afterlife, Thoth's role became even more profound. As souls stood before Osiris, their hearts weighed against the feather of Mat. Thoth recorded the outcome. He did not judge, that was Osiris's task, but he ensured that truth was preserved. Every deed, every choice, every moment was written in his eternal ledger. In this way, Thoth was the impartial witness of humanity, the keeper of wisdom that transcended life and death. Legends suggest that Thoth did more than record, he concealed. Certain truths, too powerful for casual use, were hidden away. Some were encoded in symbols, others sealed in chambers, waiting for the right time. This is why Thoth is linked to the idea of hidden chambers. He was not only the preserver of wisdom, but its protector, ensuring that humanity would not misuse knowledge before it was ready. To see Thoth as keeper of wisdom is to understand why his name endures across cultures. He was Hermes to the Greeks, Mercury to the Romans, Hermes Trismegistus to mystics. In every form, he carried the same essence: wisdom preserved, truth recorded, mystery protected. Thoth reminds us that wisdom is not simply about knowing. It is about safeguarding, balancing, and revealing only when the time is right. He is the eternal librarian of the cosmos, ensuring that knowledge survives even when civilizations fall. Among the most enduring mysteries linked to Thoth are the Emerald Tablets. These texts, whether historical artifacts or symbolic creations, have fascinated seekers for centuries. They are said to contain wisdom so profound that it bridges the gap between myth and philosophy, science and spirituality. The Emerald Tablets are often attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the fusion of Thoth with the Greek Hermes, and they became central to Hermetic traditions that influenced alchemy, mysticism, and Renaissance thought. Their language is layered, filled with allegories about the cosmos, the soul, and the eternal cycles of destruction and renewal. They are not straightforward instructions, but riddles designed to challenge the reader to look beyond the surface. One of the most famous lines attributed to the tablets is the principle of as above, so below. This phrase encapsulates the idea that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, that the patterns of the stars mirror the patterns of human life, and that wisdom lies in recognizing these connections. It is both poetic and practical, guiding seekers to see unity in diversity. The tablets also speak of transformation. Alchemists interpreted them as instructions for turning base metals into gold, but mystics saw them as metaphors for spiritual refinement, the transformation of the soul from ignorance to enlightenment. In this way, the emerald tablets became both a manual for alchemy and a guide for inner growth. Legends suggest that the tablets were preserved in hidden chambers, sealed away until humanity was ready. Some interpretations claim that Thoth himself warned future generations that these texts would remain concealed until the right time. This idea ties directly into the broader legend of hidden chambers, wisdom stored not for immediate use but for future need. Whether literal or symbolic, the emerald tablets endure because they embody the essence of mystery. They remind us that wisdom is not always handed down plainly. Sometimes it is encoded in symbols, hidden in allegories, and preserved in ways that require patience and humility to uncover. To explore the emerald tablets is to step into a labyrinth of meaning, where every phrase opens doors to deeper truths. They are not just texts, but mirrors, reflecting humanity's endless search for understanding. And like the hidden chamber itself, they remain both elusive and irresistible. Throughout history, wisdom has often been treated not as a treasure to be displayed openly, but as something to be guarded carefully. The ancients believed that knowledge was powerful, and like fire, it could illuminate or destroy depending on how it was used. This is why traditions linked to Thoth speak of truths that were deliberately concealed, preserved in symbols, sealed in chambers, and hidden away until humanity was ready. The Egyptians understood this principle deeply. Their temples and pyramids were not just monuments, but repositories of meaning. Rituals were encoded with layers of symbolism, accessible only to initiates who had undergone years of preparation. To reveal sacred knowledge too freely was seen as dangerous, for it could be misunderstood, misused, or exploited by those driven by pride rather than balance. Thoth, as the divine scribe, embodied this philosophy. He recorded everything: the movements of the stars, the deeds of kings, the cycles of history. But he also concealed. Certain truths were not meant for casual eyes. Legends suggest that he stored them in hidden chambers, sealed with rituals, waiting for the right time. These chambers were not simply physical spaces, but metaphors for the careful preservation of wisdom. The emerald tablets echo this idea. Their language is symbolic, layered, and deliberately obscure. They do not hand down truths plainly, but challenge the reader to seek deeper meaning. This obscurity is itself a form of concealment, ensuring that wisdom is revealed only to those who approach with humility and patience. Other cultures followed similar patterns. In India, the Vedas were preserved orally, passed down with precision, but accessible only to those trained in ritual. In Mesopotamia, myths encoded lessons about pride, mortality, and renewal. In the Americas, Flood stories carried warnings about imbalance. Across the world, wisdom was hidden not to frustrate, but to protect. Why was knowledge hidden? Because the ancients believed that humanity was not always ready. Wisdom had to be preserved for future generations, sealed away until the right moment. To reveal it too soon would risk catastrophe. To conceal it ensured survival. In this way, the hidden chamber of Thoth becomes a symbol of humanity's relationship with wisdom. It reminds us that knowledge is eternal, but access to it must be earned. It is not a denial, but a delay, a promise that when humanity is ready, the chamber will open. Humanity has always been enchanted by the idea that beneath the ordinary world lies something hidden, chambers, vaults, and secret places where wisdom or treasure waits. These stories are not confined to Egypt or the legend of Thoth. They appear across cultures, woven into myths, folklore, and history. In Egypt, whispers of hidden rooms beneath the pyramids and the Sphinx have persisted for centuries. Priests spoke of chambers where sacred texts were stored, sealed away from casual eyes. These were not treasure vaults in the material sense, but repositories of knowledge, places where scrolls and inscriptions carried truths about the cosmos and humanity's origins. Mesopotamian traditions also hinted at secret places. The Sumerians recorded lists of kings who reigned before the Great Flood, and some texts suggest that their wisdom was preserved in hidden archives. Clay tablets, buried and forgotten, became time capsules of memory, waiting to be uncovered millennia later. In India, the concept of caves and hidden sanctuaries played a similar role. Yogis and sages were said to retreat into mountains, preserving wisdom in places inaccessible to ordinary people. These sanctuaries symbolized the idea that truth was hidden not only physically but spiritually, requiring effort and discipline to uncover. Even in the Americas, indigenous traditions spoke of secret places. Myths described caves where survivors of floods or fires carried forward fragments of wisdom. These stories, though separated by geography, share a common theme. Knowledge must be protected, hidden until the right time. The fascination with secret places continued into later centuries. Medieval legends spoke of hidden libraries, vaults beneath cathedrals, and chambers filled with forbidden texts. Renaissance thinkers speculated about underground archives where ancient wisdom was preserved. Explorers dreamed of stumbling upon rooms filled with scrolls that explained the mysteries of the world. Why do these stories endure? Because they reflect a universal truth. Humanity senses that wisdom is both fragile and powerful. To protect it, cultures imagined secret places where it could be stored safely. These stories are less about physical chambers and more about the human desire to safeguard meaning against time, catastrophe, and misuse. The hidden chamber, Thoth, is said to have spoken about fits perfectly into this tradition. It is not just an Egyptian legend, but part of a global pattern, the belief that somewhere, beneath stone or sand, lies a vault of wisdom waiting for discovery. When the ancients wrote, they rarely meant only what appeared on the surface. Their texts were layered with meaning, designed to speak both to the casual reader and to the initiate who sought deeper truths. Symbolic language was their way of hiding wisdom in plain sight, ensuring that knowledge could be preserved without being misused. Egyptian hieroglyphs are a perfect example. A bird carved into stone was not just a bird. It could represent flight, spirit, or divine presence. A serpent might symbolize danger, wisdom, or eternity. Temples covered in inscriptions were not simply decorative. They were coded messages, teaching lessons about balance, the cosmos, and the eternal rhythm of life. Thoth, as the god of writing, was believed to have designed this symbolic system. His role as keeper of wisdom meant that he encoded truths in ways that required patience and humility to understand. The emerald tablets attributed to him are filled with allegories, as above, so below is not just a poetic phrase, but a reminder that the patterns of the heavens mirror those of the earth, and that wisdom lies in recognizing these connections. Other cultures used symbolism in similar ways. Mesopotamian myths, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, carried lessons about mortality and pride beneath the surface of adventure stories. Indian texts, such as the Vedas, used allegory to describe cosmic truths, with rituals serving as metaphors for spiritual realities. In the Americas, flood myths symbolized both catastrophe and renewal, encoding wisdom about cycles of destruction and rebirth. Symbolic language served two purposes. It preserved wisdom and it protected it. A casual reader might see only stories, while a seeker would uncover layers of meaning. This duality ensured that knowledge was available but not easily corrupted. It was a safeguard, a way of ensuring that truth endured without being misused. To read ancient texts is to enter a dialogue with eternity. Every symbol, every allegory, every myth is a doorway into deeper understanding. The hidden chamber of Thoth, whether real or symbolic, fits into this tradition. Wisdom concealed, waiting for those prepared to seek it. If wisdom is fragile, then preserving it becomes one of humanity's greatest responsibilities. Across cultures and centuries, people devised ingenious ways to ensure that knowledge would survive, even when cities fell, empires collapsed, or floods swept away entire worlds. The hidden chamber Thoth is said to have spoken about fits into this larger tradition, the idea that wisdom must be safeguarded against the erosion of time. In Egypt, preservation meant carving truths into stone. Hieroglyphs etched onto temple walls and pyramid corridors were designed to last for millennia. Papyrus scrolls, though more delicate, were stored carefully in libraries and archives. Priests and scribes saw themselves as guardians of memory, ensuring that rituals, cosmic alignments, and sacred hymns would not be forgotten. Mesopotamia took a different approach. Clay tablets pressed with cuneiform script became their time capsules. Buried in archives, these tablets survived long after cities crumbled. When archaeologists uncovered them thousands of years later, they found not just records of trade, but myths, laws, and cosmic stories, fragments of wisdom preserved through sheer durability. India relied on oral tradition. The Vedas, some of the oldest texts in human history, were memorized and recited with astonishing precision. Generations of priests carried them forward, ensuring that even without stone or clay, the wisdom endured. This method of preservation was not physical, but living, embedded in memory and ritual. In Greece and Rome, libraries became the repositories of knowledge. Scrolls filled with philosophy, science, and myth were stored in great collections, though many were lost to fire or conquest. Yet fragments survived, copied and recopied, carried forward into the Renaissance and beyond. Even in the Americas, traditions of preservation existed. Myths were encoded in stories, passed orally, and sometimes carved into stone. Flood narratives, cosmic cycles, and lessons about balance were preserved in ways that ensured they would outlast catastrophe. The hidden chamber of Thoth, whether real or symbolic, represents the ultimate act of preservation. It is the idea that wisdom too powerful for casual use was sealed away, waiting for the right time. This chamber is less about stone walls and more about the principle of safeguarding truth until humanity is ready. Preserving knowledge through time is not just about survival. It is about trust. The ancients trusted that future generations would need their wisdom, that memory must endure even when empires fall. The hidden chamber is a symbol of that trust, a reminder that wisdom is eternal, and though it may be concealed, it is never truly lost. The idea of hidden chambers has always carried a certain allure, but when those chambers are imagined underground, the fascination deepens. Across cultures, legends describe vaults beneath the earth where wisdom, treasures, or even entire histories were stored away from the eyes of ordinary people. These underground spaces were not simply practical shelters. They were symbols of mystery, secrecy, and preservation. In Egypt, whispers of subterranean rooms beneath the pyramids and the Sphinx have persisted for centuries. Travelers and explorers often speculated that beneath the sands lay corridors leading to chambers filled with scrolls, records of ancient civilizations, and perhaps even the secrets of Atlantis. The Hall of Records theory, which suggests a hidden archive beneath the Sphinx, is one of the most famous of these legends. Mesopotamian traditions also hinted at underground repositories. Some texts suggest that before the Great Flood, kings preserved their wisdom in hidden places, ensuring that memory would survive catastrophe. Archaeologists have indeed uncovered buried libraries of clay tablets, proving that the idea of underground preservation was not just myth but practice. In India, caves and subterranean sanctuaries were often linked to sages and yogis. These hidden places symbolized retreat, meditation, and the preservation of spiritual truths. Legends describe chambers within mountains where wisdom was stored, accessible only to those who sought enlightenment. Even in the Americas, indigenous traditions spoke of underground chambers. Myths described survivors of floods or fires retreating into caves, carrying forward fragments of wisdom. These stories, though separated by geography, share a striking similarity: the belief that beneath the earth lies hidden knowledge. Medieval Europe added its own flavor to the legend. Tales of secret vaults beneath cathedrals, hidden libraries guarded by monks, and underground passages filled with forbidden texts captured the imagination of generations. Renaissance thinkers speculated about subterranean archives where ancient wisdom was preserved, waiting to be rediscovered. Why underground? Because the earth itself was seen as a guardian. To bury wisdom was to protect it from destruction, to seal it away in a place both inaccessible and eternal. Chambers beneath the earth symbolized depth, secrecy, and endurance. They were not just physical spaces, but metaphors for truths hidden beneath the surface of ordinary life. The legends of underground chambers endure because they speak to a universal longing, the desire to uncover hidden truths. Whether beneath pyramids, mountains, or cathedrals, these chambers represent the hope that somewhere, preserved in silence and darkness, lies the wisdom we have lost, waiting for us to find it. When people speak of hidden chambers and ancient wisdom, Egypt inevitably takes center stage. Few civilizations have inspired such enduring fascination. and few landscapes hold as many whispered secrets beneath their sands. The pyramids, the temples, and the enigmatic Sphinx all seem to hint at mysteries waiting to be uncovered, making Egypt the natural backdrop for the legend of Thoth's hidden chamber. The pyramids themselves are monuments to eternity. Their precise alignments with stars, their labyrinthine corridors, and their sheer scale suggest that they were more than tombs. For centuries, explorers have speculated that beneath their massive stones lie secret rooms, chambers where priests may have stored sacred texts or cosmic records. The idea that Thoth's wisdom could be hidden within these structures has fueled countless theories. The Sphinx, with its silent gaze across the desert, adds another layer of intrigue. Legends claim that beneath its paws lies a chamber, perhaps the Hall of Records, where scrolls detailing humanity's forgotten history are preserved. Modern scans have revealed anomalies beneath the Sphinx, though whether they are natural formations or man-made structures remains debated. Still, the possibility keeps the legend alive. Egyptian temples also contribute to the mystery. Their walls are covered in hieroglyphs, their corridors aligned with celestial events, their sanctuaries designed to echo cosmic truths. To walk through them is to step into a symbolic universe, where every carving and every alignment speaks of wisdom preserved in stone. It is easy to imagine that somewhere within these temples lies a hidden chamber, sealed away by priests who believed that certain truths were too powerful for casual eyes. Egypt's role as the cradle of these legends is not accidental. The civilization's obsession with preservation, its mastery of symbolism, and its reverence for balance made it the perfect setting for stories of hidden wisdom. Thoth, as the divine scribe, was central to this tradition, ensuring that knowledge was recorded, concealed, and protected. Connections to Egypt endure because they embody the essence of mystery. The sands conceal, the stones preserve, and the monuments whisper of truths waiting to be found. Whether beneath the pyramids, the Sphinx, or the temples, the idea of a hidden chamber ties directly to Egypt's legacy as the guardian of wisdom. Few ideas in the realm of ancient mysteries have captured imaginations quite like the Hall of Records theory. At its heart lies the belief that somewhere beneath the sands of Egypt, most often beneath the Sphinx, exists a chamber containing the complete history of humanity, preserved by Thoth or by priests who followed his guidance. This chamber, according to legend, is not merely a library, but a vault of cosmic memory, holding scrolls, tablets, and inscriptions that explain our origins, our past civilizations, and perhaps even our destiny. The theory gained prominence in the 20th century, fueled by explorers, mystics, and writers who speculated about anomalies beneath the Sphinx. Some claimed that scans revealed cavities or tunnels, while others insisted that ancient texts hinted at a hidden archive. The Hall of Records became a symbol of humanity's longing for answers, a place where all mysteries might be explained if only we could find the door. The connection to Thoth is central. As the keeper of wisdom, he was believed to have recorded everything: the rise and fall of civilizations, the cycles of the stars, the truths of the cosmos. The Hall of Records, in this interpretation, is his ultimate archive, a chamber where knowledge was not destroyed but hidden, waiting for humanity to reach maturity. Skeptics argue that the theory is more myth than fact. Archaeologists have found no definitive evidence of such a chamber, and many anomalies beneath the Sphinx can be explained as natural formations. Yet the allure persists because the idea itself is irresistible. To imagine a room filled with scrolls detailing Atlantis, ancient technologies, and forgotten histories is to imagine a treasure greater than gold. The Hall of Records theory endures because it speaks to a universal desire, the hope that somewhere, preserved in silence and stone, lies the truth about who we are and where we came from, whether beneath the Sphinx or within our collective imagination. The Hall of Records remains one of the most captivating legends of hidden wisdom. The fascination with hidden wisdom often takes us underground. Across cultures, the earth itself was seen as a guardian, a vast vault capable of concealing truths too precious to leave exposed. Chambers beneath the earth were imagined not only as physical spaces, but as symbols of depth, secrecy, and endurance. In Egypt, the idea of subterranean chambers is inseparable from the pyramids and the Sphinx. Explorers and mystics have long speculated that beneath these monuments lie corridors leading to sealed rooms, perhaps containing scrolls or tablets recording the forgotten history of humanity. The desert sands, shifting and concealing, became part of the mystery, a natural curtain hiding what might lie below. Mesopotamia offers its own echoes of underground preservation. Clay tablets buried in archives survived long after cities fell, proving that wisdom could endure beneath the earth. Some traditions even suggest that kings, before the flood, stored their knowledge in hidden places, ensuring that memory would not be erased by catastrophe. In India, caves and subterranean sanctuaries were linked to sages who retreated into mountains. These chambers symbolized both physical concealment and spiritual depth. To descend into a cave was to journey inward, to seek truths hidden beneath the surface of ordinary life. The Americas also carried legends of underground chambers. Myths described survivors of floods or fires retreating into caves, carrying fragments of wisdom with them. These stories, though separated by oceans, share the same theme. Beneath the earth lies preservation, a sanctuary for memory. Even in medieval Europe, the idea persisted. Tales of secret vaults beneath cathedrals, hidden libraries guarded by monks, and underground passages filled with forbidden texts captured imaginations. The earth was seen as a shield, protecting wisdom from destruction and misuse. Why chambers beneath the earth? Because the underground represents permanence. Stone and soil endure where wood and parchment decay. To bury wisdom was to trust the earth itself, to guard it until the right time. These chambers were not just practical shelters, but metaphors for truths hidden beneath the surface, waiting for seekers to uncover them. The hidden chamber Thoth is said to have spoken about fits seamlessly into this tradition. Whether beneath the Sphinx, within pyramids, or deep inside mountains, the idea of subterranean preservation reflects humanity's belief that wisdom must be concealed in places both inaccessible and eternal. The question of why hidden chambers were sealed is as intriguing as the chambers themselves. If wisdom was meant to guide humanity, why lock it away? The answer lies in the ancient belief that knowledge is both a gift and a danger. To reveal it too freely would risk imbalance, pride, and misuse. To conceal it was to protect it until the right time. Egyptian priests understood this principle deeply. They believed that certain truths, cosmic alignments, rituals of power, and secrets of the soul were too potent for casual eyes. These truths were preserved in symbols, encoded in texts, and sometimes sealed in chambers. The act of sealing was not an attempt to deny humanity wisdom, but to safeguard it, ensuring that only those prepared could access it. Thoth, as the divine scribe, embodied this philosophy. Legends suggest that he stored knowledge in hidden places, warning that it would remain sealed until humanity reached maturity. The chambers were locked not with physical barriers alone, but with rituals, symbols, and the passage of time. They were designed to resist curiosity until curiosity was tempered by humility. Other cultures echoed this idea. In India, sages retreated into caves, preserving wisdom in sanctuaries accessible only to those disciplined enough to seek. In Mesopotamia, kings buried tablets to protect them from floods, sealing them in archives that would survive catastrophe. In medieval Europe, forbidden texts were locked away in vaults beneath cathedrals, hidden from those who might misuse them. The sealing of chambers reflects a universal truth. Wisdom must be protected from premature use. Just as fire can warm or destroy, knowledge can enlighten or corrupt. To seal it was to trust that future generations would be wiser, more balanced, more prepared to handle its power. The hidden chamber Thoth is said to have spoken about is the ultimate example of this principle. It was sealed not to frustrate seekers, but to protect humanity from itself. It is a reminder that wisdom is eternal, but access to it must be earned. The chamber waits, locked not by stone alone, but by time, patience, and readiness. The hidden chambers of wisdom were never meant for everyone. They were designed for a select audience, those who had proven themselves worthy through discipline, humility, and devotion to truth. To ask who these chambers were for is to ask who the ancients trusted with the most powerful knowledge of all. In Egypt, the guardians of wisdom were the priests and scribes. These men and women dedicated their lives to ritual, astronomy, and the sacred language of hieroglyphs. They were initiates who understood that knowledge was not simply information, but a force that could shape the cosmos. The chambers, whether beneath pyramids or temples, were reserved for them, the keepers of balance, the interpreters of Mat. Thoth, as the divine scribe, embodied this principle. Legends suggest that he concealed wisdom not for kings or conquerors, but for seekers who approached with humility. The chambers were sealed until humanity itself was ready, meaning they were ultimately for future generations, for us, perhaps, when we learn to balance curiosity with responsibility. Other cultures echoed this exclusivity. In India, caves were sanctuaries for sages who had renounced worldly desires. In Mesopotamia, archives were preserved for rulers who valued memory over power. In medieval Europe, hidden libraries were guarded by monks, accessible only to those who respected the sanctity of forbidden texts. The audience of these chambers was always selective. They were for seekers, not for the greedy. They were for guardians, not for opportunists. They were for those who understood that wisdom is not a tool to dominate, but a light to guide. In this way, the hidden chambers become more than physical spaces. They are metaphors for readiness. They remind us that wisdom is eternal, but access to it must be earned. The chambers were for humanity, but only for the part of humanity willing to approach with reverence, patience, and balance. The legend of Thoth's hidden chamber has not faded with time. In fact, modern technology has breathed new life into the mystery. Today, archaeologists, scientists, and explorers are using advanced tools to probe beneath Egypt's monuments, hoping to uncover what ancient texts and myths have long suggested. Recent breakthroughs have revealed previously unknown voids inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. Using muon tomography, a scanning technique that tracks cosmic particles, researchers detected a massive hidden chamber above the Grand Gallery. This space, untouched for over 4,500 years, has reignited speculation about what might lie within. Could it be a sealed archive, a ritual chamber, or simply an architectural feature? For now, its purpose remains a mystery. Other investigations have focused on the Pyramid of Khafre and the Sphinx. Radar and ground-penetrating scans have suggested anomalies beneath these structures, fueling theories that underground chambers may exist. Some researchers connect these findings to the mythical Hall of Records, said to be sealed by Thoth himself, containing the wisdom of lost civilizations. Despite centuries of exploration, the Great Pyramid and its neighbors continue to surprise us. Not all of their internal structures have been mapped, and new discoveries of voids and unexplored passages keep the mystery alive. Each revelation adds weight to the idea that Egypt's monuments may still conceal secrets waiting to be uncovered. Modern searches remind us that the legend of hidden chambers is not just myth, but an ongoing quest. With every scan, every anomaly detected, humanity edges closer to answering the question, did Thoth truly seal away wisdom for future generations? The sands of Egypt may yet reveal their secrets, but only when we are ready to understand them. The story of Thoth's hidden chamber, like many ancient legends, exists in the space between myth and interpretation. On one hand, it is a tale of sealed wisdom preserved for future generations. On the other, it is a canvas onto which seekers, mystics, and scholars have projected their own meanings. To separate the myth from its interpretations is to understand how legends evolve and why they endure. The myth itself is simple. Thoth, the divine scribe, concealed knowledge in hidden chambers, warning that it would remain sealed until humanity was ready. This idea appears in fragments of Egyptian tradition and echoes in Hermetic texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. It is a story of preservation, secrecy, and trust in the future. Interpretations, however, have multiplied across centuries. Renaissance alchemists saw the myth as a metaphor for transformation, linking it to the emerald tablets and the pursuit of turning base metals into gold. Mystics interpreted the chamber as a symbol of the soul, suggesting that hidden wisdom lies within us, waiting to be unlocked through discipline and enlightenment. Modern seekers often connect the myth to physical places, pyramids, the Sphinx, or underground vaults, imagining that literal chambers of scrolls and records await discovery. Skeptics argue that the myth is purely symbolic, a way of expressing the idea that wisdom must be concealed until humanity matures. They see the chamber not as stone walls, but as allegory, reminding us that truth is hidden in symbols, rituals, and the depths of human consciousness. The tension between myth and interpretation is what keeps the legend alive. If the chamber is real, it promises discovery. If it is symbolic, it promises insight. Either way, it continues to fascinate because it speaks to a universal longing, the desire to uncover hidden truths, whether beneath the sands of Egypt or within the human spirit. In the end, the myth of Thoth's hidden chamber is less about what is literally true and more about what it inspires. It is a reminder that wisdom, whether sealed in stone or encoded in allegory, is always waiting, and that interpretation is itself part of the journey toward understanding. Mysteries endure because they speak to something timeless in the human spirit, curiosity. From the earliest myths to modern scientific quests, humanity has always been drawn to the unknown. The legend of Thoth's hidden chamber is not just about Egypt or ancient wisdom. It is about the universal desire to uncover secrets, to peel back layers of reality, and glimpse truths that lie beyond ordinary understanding. Part of the endurance comes from the balance between possibility and uncertainty. If the chamber were proven to exist, the mystery would end. If it were disproven entirely, the fascination might fade. But because it remains unresolved, hovering between myth and fact, it continues to inspire exploration, speculation, and imagination. Mysteries thrive in that space where certainty is just out of reach. Another reason is symbolism. The hidden chamber is not only a physical place, but a metaphor. It represents the idea that wisdom is concealed, waiting for those who are ready to seek it. This metaphor resonates across cultures and eras, reminding us that truth is often hidden beneath the surface. Whether in texts, rituals, or within ourselves, mysteries also endure because they evolve. Each generation interprets them differently, layering new meanings onto old legends. Renaissance alchemists saw the emerald tablets as guides to transformation. Modern seekers imagine archives beneath the Sphinx. Future generations may see the chamber as a symbol of digital preservation or cosmic memory. The mystery adapts, ensuring its relevance across time. Finally, mysteries endure because they inspire action. They drive explorers to dig, scholars to interpret, and dreamers to imagine. They remind us that not everything has been explained, that the world still holds secrets worth pursuing. In a universe where so much is known, mysteries are the sparks that keep curiosity alive. The hidden chamber of Thoth endures because it is more than a legend. It is a mirror of humanity's endless quest for understanding, a reminder that wisdom is eternal, and that the journey to uncover it is as important as the discovery itself. The legends of Thoth's hidden chamber, the myths of underground vaults, and the symbolic language of ancient texts all point toward one enduring truth. Wisdom is not simply about knowledge, but about how it is used. The ancients understood that truth could enlighten or destroy, and so they preserved it carefully, concealed it deliberately, and revealed it only to those prepared to handle its weight. One lesson is patience. Ancient wisdom teaches that not all truths are meant to be grasped immediately. Just as chambers were sealed until the right time, so too must seekers learn to wait, to prepare themselves, and to approach knowledge with humility rather than haste. Another lesson is balance. The Egyptians spoke of Mat, the principle of harmony and order. Wisdom was not meant to serve greed or domination, but to maintain balance between humanity, nature, and the cosmos. This principle echoes across cultures, reminding us that knowledge without balance leads to chaos. A third lesson is preservation. The ancients carved truths into stone, buried them in clay, or carried them forward through oral tradition. They understood that wisdom must endure beyond the rise and fall of empires. Their efforts remind us that what we learn today must be safeguarded for future generations, not hoarded or forgotten. Finally, there is the lesson of humility. The hidden chamber itself symbolizes the idea that wisdom is not easily won. It must be earned through discipline, reverence and respect. To seek knowledge arrogantly is to miss its deeper meaning. To seek it humbly is to be transformed by it. The enduring value of ancient wisdom lies not in whether the chambers are real or symbolic, but in what they teach us about ourselves. They remind us that knowledge is eternal, but its true power lies in how we approach it. The hidden chamber of Thoth, whether beneath the sands or within the soul, is a call to patience, balance, preservation, and humility, lessons as vital today as they were thousands of years ago. The question of whether Thoth's hidden chamber or any of the legendary underground vaults could actually be found is one that continues to stir debate. On one side, skeptics argue that the chambers are purely symbolic, metaphors for wisdom concealed within texts, rituals, or the human spirit. On the other, explorers and mystics insist that physical chambers may still lie beneath Egypt's sands, waiting for discovery. Modern technology has made the search more compelling. Scans of the Great Pyramid have revealed unexplored voids, and anomalies beneath the Sphinx suggest the possibility of hidden spaces. While archaeologists caution that these findings may be structural features rather than secret rooms, the fact that such mysteries remain unresolved keeps the legend alive. Could they be found? The answer depends on how we define finding. If the chamber is literal, then yes, continued exploration with advanced tools may one day uncover sealed rooms beneath pyramids or temples. If the chamber is symbolic, then discovery lies not in excavation, but in interpretation, in unlocking the wisdom encoded in myths, texts, and symbols. The endurance of the legend itself suggests another possibility. Perhaps the chamber is meant to remain hidden until humanity is ready. In this view, discovery is not about technology, but about maturity, a collective readiness to use wisdom responsibly. Thus, the search continues, both in the sands of Egypt and in the minds of seekers. Whether physical or symbolic, the hidden chamber of Thoth challenges us to keep looking, reminding us that mysteries endure because they invite us to seek, to question, and to grow. The journey through the legend of Thoth's hidden chamber has carried us across sands, temples, myths, and interpretations. We have explored why wisdom was concealed, how it was preserved, who it was meant for, and why mysteries endure. Whether the chamber is real or symbolic, its story reminds us of something timeless. Knowledge is eternal, but its power depends on how we approach it. The ancients sealed truths not to deny humanity, but to protect it, trusting that future generations would be ready. Their wisdom teaches patience, balance, humility, and preservation, lessons that remain as vital today as they were thousands of years ago. The hidden chamber is not only a legend of Egypt, but a metaphor for the human spirit, reminding us that the deepest truths often lie beneath the surface, waiting for seekers who approach with reverence. In the end, the chamber may never be found in stone, but it is always waiting within us. Each seeker, each generation, carries the responsibility to uncover wisdom carefully, to preserve it faithfully, and to use it wisely. That is the true legacy of Thoth's hidden chamber, a call to seek, to question, and to grow. And now, as the sands of Egypt settle in silence and the echoes of ancient wisdom fade into the night, we close this story. May its mysteries linger in your thoughts, guiding you gently toward balance and curiosity. Good night.